Welcome to part 3 of our series on what is church membership. We started off talking about the church and how Jesus founded the church to be a community of believers who accomplish his work in the world together. And then last week we talked about how we pool ourselves and our resources together to accomplish this work. We each contribute of our time. We each contribute of our tithes and our resources. We each contribute our talents, our gifts, and our skills in such a way that we can accomplish more than any of us could on our own. Today, we're going to expand on one part of that, and we're going to talk about spiritual gifts. In 1 Corinthians 12:7, Paul says, "Now to each one, the manifestation of the Spirit is given for the common good." What is this manifestation of the Spirit? Well, each of us have certain innate qualities that we're kind of born with. We're each naturally good at certain things, or we may develop certain interests naturally. But a Christian, as they grow in Christ, manifests special abilities or gifts or qualities that God has given them specifically for use for the common good in the church. In Romans, Paul tells us what some of these are. He says we have gifts like encouragement or teaching or administrating, organizing. He talks about giving, faith, helping, leadership, and showing mercy. And this is not an exclusive list. There are many more. The point is that God will equip you in unique ways to serve within the church. Now, you may come to church and you may look around and you see a pastor or a teacher or a music minister or someone who's up front doing things, and you may think, I could never do that. Or I don't have any ability to do that. I can't sing, I can't teach, I can't talk in front of people, or whatever it is that you find intimidating. But as a pastor, let me tell you that while certain gifts lend themselves to being more upfront, if the church as a whole and the members individually in that church do not contribute of their gifts, then the church is shallow, it is hollow, it is empty. There's only so much that leadership can or should do. It's the entire church working together that really accomplishes the good work that God has intended. In 1 Corinthians 12, Paul says this. He says, "If the foot should say, because I am not a hand, I do not belong to the body, it would not for that reason cease to be part of the body. And if the ear should say, because I am not an eye, I do not belong to the body, it would not for that reason cease to be a part of the body. If the whole if the whole body were an eye, where would the sense of hearing be? If the whole body were an ear, where would the sense of smell be? But in fact, God has arranged the parts in the body, every one of them, just as he wanted. If they were all one part, where would the body be? As it is, there are many parts, but one body. And the ear cannot say to the hand, I don't need you. And the head cannot say to the feet, I don't need you. On the contrary, those parts of the body that seem to be weaker are indispensable. And the parts that we think are less honorable, we treat with special honor. So you are important, whether your gift is preaching and teaching and being up front, or whether your teaching is encouraging someone behind the scenes, or visiting someone in a hospital, or writing notes, or showing mercy to someone that has sinned and is feeling bad, or is going through a difficult time. Whatever it is, you are important. And you need to discover what your spiritual gifts are, because you might not know. This might be a new concept to you. You might not know exactly how God has gifted you in this way. But you can find out. And you find out first by praying about it and by looking and seeking. And then you start to ask yourself, what is it that gives me life? What is it that brings me joy? For some people, it's encouragement. Now, we should all be encouraging. But if you have the gift of encouragement, that brings you life. And you love to encourage people, and you thrive off that. Or maybe it's giving. We should all give to the church. We should all bring our tithes and our resources together. But some people have the gift of giving where it just brings them a special joy, and their love language is to give to others. And they give in a generous and unique way. For some, it might be administrating, organizing, helping behind the scenes with things that many people in leadership just aren't very good at. But you can organize, and you can help them, and you can serve in that way, and that brings you life, that brings you joy. So, how has God gifted you? You are important. There is a U-shaped gap in the local church that you are meant to fill. And I would encourage you to fill it as your role as a church member. Thank you.